The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Hello, Port Harcourt, with Jude on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, so 017-923-0003, 0817923-0007. All right, we also have 070-0923-0923. All right, if you just joined us, this is Hello Port Harcourt, and this morning our final conversation for the morning has to do with career choices. Now, my question still is, just in case you didn't catch it, is how much influence should parents have on their children's career path? Should the children get to do what that says? I see your leg is bow leg, you're a footballer, go and play football, like some parents have been shouting in recent months. But what if the child really doesn't have interest in football? You don't believe me? There's a certain footballer, former Tottenham player, Asu Ekoto, one of the best left backs of his generation. He once said he likes football, doesn't love it. He just found that he's good at it. He doesn't really like it. Imagine that. Somebody who was earning close to £50,000 a week was telling people that I'm a football not being team. Not being team. Let's get to the phone lines now. 017-923-0002, 017-923-0007. Now, this one says, Jude, what an elder can see something sitting down more than what a child can see standing on the tallest Iroko tree. I really wish my parents forced me to go into a professional course. I went to follow my passion and I was genuinely afraid. Now I am regretting. Oh no. Sad to read this. Parents should know what their children are good at or sense where the trend is going and force their children to go into that direction. The child can use the money he or she will make from that place to follow their passion after. Not be every time passion they pay. 92.3. Hello, Port Harcourt. Good morning, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, this is Ejike.
Ejike, thank you for joining us. Please, could you turn off your radio set or step away from the radio set, please?
I'm taking care of it.
Thank you.
Is it okay?
Okay, all right, go on, please.
Okay. It's very important for parents, and even by extension, relatives or people who are same life before the younger ones to help guide the younger ones. It better shapes their future. Okay? Most of the choices in front of persons make, if they had better people to guide them, I believe they would have turned up better. That's the truth. Most of the professional courses, although I'm not saying that hard courses don't pay. Okay, if one mustn't go into the medical line, the legal line, and so many other things, but proper guidance is very important. Like for me, I studied political science. Okay, but I still feel that there are a whole lot I could have done. Political science for me, I don't see it as a professional course. I would have done better if I had known, or if I were to be given a sense of direction. I would have gone into a medical line the way it is.
Interesting.
I mean, yes, if I had got some form of proper guidance, I would have gone into a medical line or an engineering line. This is the same thing now. I mean,
but it's very possible, Ejike, that back when you were in school, those were not the trends, and maybe people were paying attention.
No, Madam Speaker. I'm telling you the facts. A lot of persons will tell you, why not go into AI, artificial intelligence? Why not go into the ICT? Why not go into cyber securities and so many other things? Fine, that's fantastic. I mean, let's take a case study of Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, GK. Go on, please.
Let me call you back, please.
Oh, okay. All right. We would love to get to hear you again. All right, please. Thank you very much. Now, this one here reads, let the child be and encourage them to build on their strengths. There is nothing worse than the parent, teacher, or guidance counselor trying to live vicariously through a child. Even if the child does what you want, they will resent you. Although I wasn't forced to study what I studied, I am not doing something else that when I look back into my childhood, I realize the signs were always there. But no one in the environment where I grew up had ever done it before or assumed it was a possibility. And this could be true for many a Nigerian child right now. I am slightly terrified my children, particularly my daughter, will take after my career, wise, but take after me career-wise, I beg your pardon. But if it turns out to be what they really want to do, they are truly skilled or talented, especially if they're also as stubborn or strong as me or their dad, I will support them. So it's all about in this person's because it says her, right? Okay, so in this person's view, it's all about encouraging the child to build on their strengths. But we've seen cases where a child's strength, like I said, is football. They can see this might be like football. But what if the other strengths that could be built on? Don't forget, some skills come naturally, some skills are honed, some skills are learned. Take, for example, driving. It's a learned reflex. It's a learned reflex. 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003, 08179230002, 08179230003. Our Facebook and X handle at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info PH. Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. Now, just before we go on the break, it's an interesting message here. This one says, Jude, it is very wrong to choose a career, spouse, or religion for your children. Let them grow up and choose for themselves. Chief Obu Owi, you have just given me a great line of conversation for my Sunday morning show. Let me read this again. It is very wrong to choose a career, spouse, or religion for your children. Let them grow and choose for themselves. So I'll give two examples. One, where the child was encouraged to do what the father or mother was proper. And two, where the child decided to do what he liked. Passion. And in both cases, some turned out great, others didn't. We'll be back to the break.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Investment full ground, service for you fit.
doctor in any of the teaching hospitals aims far above that and job taxing his or herself. Might be working here, having different other things that he or she does outside that hospital facilities. Okay, so these are things we are looking at. Okay.
All right, AGK, thank you very much. Some may disagree with you. Zion is speaking to us from GRA. Zion, good morning to you. How much influence is needed here? Hello, Zion. Hello, Zion, good morning. Oh dear. Hello, Zion. Oh dear, that's a drop call scenario. Apologies there. Now, AGK says, he has friends who are PhD with some of these politicians and they don't end very well. It's very possible. Depending on who the politician is, it's very possible. And he says he knows doctors who earn more than the press secretaries. It's also very possible. There's no doubt about that. But I have lived personally with doctors for the better part of 20 years, 2 decades. And I can tell you that there are some doctors who are struggling to pay school fees. Not in Katangora, not in Owo, in River State, inside Port Harcourt. Why do you think you have the Jackpot syndrome very common or very dominant with the medical profession, whether they are doctors or nurses? I have sat down and I've heard some doctors open their mouths and said if they had known, they would not have gotten into medicine. They would have probably done engineering or computer science. I've heard engineers say if they had known, they would have done crop science. And it's weird that those days, a lot of those people who were doing crop science, agricultural engineering and whatever, they were looked down upon in this country. Zion is back. Zion, good morning to you. Zion speaking to us from GRA. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Jude. Ever since we adopted Western kind of education, our people become depressed, frustrated, neglected, and rejected in the society, abandoned and idle. The Western education. Civilization started from Africa. This is what nobody have told our children of today. We have not told them that truth. So that is why I say it's a zero influence. Any father that tries to influence the child, go and study medicine. If you don't study medicine, I'm going to disown you. Go and share the life of that child. They come home being depressed. They come back home, the next idea is to travel out of the country. But look at the traditional African educational system that was based on apprenticeship. Everybody was busy. They were living what we call the high life. Your father is a trader. Check it, ancestral from the beginning. You already know the rudiments of trading.
Yeah, but Zion, even that system, there were people who deviated, and from their deviation sparked newer trends, newer solutions to different problems. Everybody.
It was the adoption of the Western education that has corrupted our mind. Do you know today the Benin people is known as sculpture?
Yeah, bronze sculpting was very popular in Benin.
But I challenge you today, go back there, you will not see as you used to be. Either they are into something else. So what about these handmade objections to become a sculpture from bronze? Can we get them today? Do you know that even today, software manufacturers in Port Harcourt, they are looking for carpenters that can even mold the skeleton of full streets for them? Is hard to get. I'm a Joe man from Bayelsa State. We are professionals when it comes to fixing of your bones.
Oh yeah.
If your bone is destroyed, then we'll fix them for you. our women, do you see the way they look? They massage them. They did not need any BBL to look the way they are looking. What caused it? Because the people that knows how to massage will tell them that this process is wrong. Either we call them names, they died.
Okay, so, I have Alex in Brokeri. Let me ask you finally. So, do you think the parents should influence where the child should go?
Don't influence them. Just grow their IQ, intelligent quotient, and let them develop what they want to be in future. All you need to do is to raise them to develop IQ.
Okay, all right. We've lost that caller, Alex in Brokeri. All right, more messages now. Let's get to WhatsApp. And yes, there are a few. Okay, this one says, "Hello, Jude. I made wrong choices because I had no guidance, but I am very intentional with my children's careers. I made my daughter rewrite JAMB and repeat year 1 after studying anatomy for 1 year and 1 year in basic to avoid regret after graduation. She's studying nursing now in Uniport, despite all the monies wasted in the last 2 years. So you think it's a waste? Okay, all right, moving on. Jude, you have mentioned before that you studied human physiology. Can you tell us your own story? Did you want medicine? Were you forced? How did you get into journalism? I'd like to know." Interesting. Never thought. You see the problem about this, the way I quip on radio. It always has a way of biting me in the rear end. Okay, all right. So I was never forced into medicine. Yes, I did start out with medicine. All right, that was I felt nobody was a doctor in my family, so hey, I should become a doctor. That's how I started. So I watched all the medical shows, and I forced myself to get into biology. But I don't think I've ever said this to the public, but I'll say this now. In SS1, we had a government teacher, an elderly man. And after my first year of government, that's from SS1, that's the whole of SS2, from first term, second term, third term, I discovered, and he discovered, that I had an affinity for history. I would soak up every single thing he would tell us about the history of Benin or what happened in 1920 or 1850 something. I was wrapped in his voice. I couldn't let go. And my results came. And I cleared everything. I mean, all the art papers. In fact, the only art paper I had a problem with was fine arts, because I couldn't draw to save Nigeria's future. And he held me, told me, "I know you want to go into science. I know they've told you science is the way. But stay in government. Stay in history. Stay in history, my son. Stay in history." I will never forget that man. I've never said this before. I was like, my dad agrees with me that I should go into medicine. My dad did not force me to be in medicine, neither did my mom. I just always used to say it. He says, "You can speak. I see the way you speak to your classmates, and you remember the things I teach you. Stay in this class. Let me speak to your parents." My parents never came. He never spoke to them. And here I am speaking to people. Hello, good morning. From childhood, I always loved computers and was pretty good at it from when I was small. Because of social pressure, I somehow forgot I was good at this and ended up studying biochemistry. I didn't love biochemistry, but I ensured I loved it for the sake of my school fees. While studying biochemistry, I randomly started studying computers again. I remember the day I defended my research project. I applied for a couple of jobs and started getting interviews. And most of the interviewers started asking me how old I was, how I picked up so much knowledge without the degree. I have worked as an engineer and now in the abroad thanks to this skill. I have always wondered what would have happened if I had studied computers in school. So this is somebody in the abroad. Interesting. Good morning, Jude. The most important thing is support and prayers. If a parent notices a child while growing up is good in a particular area, the parent has the responsibility to build that child in that field. And when the child grows up and notices that he or she has strength for something else and decides to do that thing, the parent should not stop such a child. All they should do is encourage and pray for the child. A parent should not force a child to do any profession. Success from Ruma Holu. So, once again, I'm not asking if you should force, but how much influence should parents have over the career choices of a child? 017-923-0002, 017-923-0003. Well, as they say, time always flies when you're having fun conversations. We have just about 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, sorry, my math is wrong. 7 minutes before we say our goodbyes this morning. All right, so keep those calls coming through. 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007. At Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. All right. Bakel Menegbo John says, firstly, it is the right of every child to choose that career and their right to live their dreams. Moreover, it is the child who knows his choice, his passion, his dreams and abilities better than anyone else in the world. If a child chooses a career according to their parents' wish, there is a possibility that they may have a boring career life, as they might lose interest in what they are doing. If the path is chosen by the child, then he stays oriented towards the end goal. That's from Menegbo John on Facebook. Parents are like coaches, Jude, and the job of any coach, the same with any parent, is to identify, promote, encourage, and more importantly, keep that fellow on the right path. A lot of parents these days have become cheerleaders. They have become their motivational speakers, and they have forgotten that they are meant to be first and foremost parents. What a parent should do is to identify the strengths in that child. No matter what passion the child says he or she has, it is your job to look at your child very closely and then figure out what exactly would work best for the child. I'm not saying force the child, but I'm saying that the parents should look intently and then make the path right for the child to fly or to promote himself in that group. This analogy, I think it rings very true. I don't know if you agree. I'm currently reading a book right now. In fact, I'm about to finish. By the time I leave this studio, I'm going to devote just 20 more minutes and I'll be done with this book. It's called Leading, and it is by Alex Ferguson. And in that book, he talks about his time in Manchester United, where there were some players who he had to be firm with. Some players who he had to play out of position because he needed their work rate at that particular point in time. If you give a player the option, oh yeah, play the way you want to play, the player may do that, and may do that with fun, but it may not yield results. Calvin here may just be on something. Parents are like coaches. Parents, yes, can cheerlead, but he says the first role of a parent is to be a parent, to identify, not just to praise sing when the child says, oh, I like to dance or whatever. By the way, if your child likes to dance, please let them dance. They like to sing, let them sing. But you also have to identify the other traits that could be salient in their lives. I'm going to wrap up by saying this, please. All right? We are a country of maybe hundreds of millions of people. The data these days is a bit skewed. And in the entire period I've been on this planet, in this country, with the number of cars and wealthy businessmen that we have, I have not seen a Nigerian in a Formula One car. Maybe this is the seed I'm sowing so that in the next 10 or 15 years it will happen. Maybe it will be my son. I don't know. But Nigerians love cars. And yet, there is not a single Nigerian, whether the person is in the diaspora or here, who has made it into the Formula One ranks. For all the cars we buy, for all the billions we spend, not one Nigerian, not one, not one, not a one. South Africa have riders in MotoGP, that's motorcycle racing. They even have racers in the Dakar rallies. But no one has made it. Why? Are we saying that there are no people who are passionate enough about car racing? 92.3. Hello, Port Harcourt.
I called back. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is EGK.
Welcome, EGK. Quickly, 1 minute, please.
Okay. I want to start by saying this. And it said, it said, most of the things are lawful, but not all the things are helpful. Now, it's very important for the parents to give guidance to the children. It is even very important for you to choose careers for them. If you feel as if they would do well, or engineering is something that would fetch them a good future, why not? We feel the ICT world might be the in thing in the coming years ahead. Please, with everything in you, encourage that child to go into it. I studied both science, and I'm doing business. So, what my intention of going into the school was for me to become a governor, a senator, those big portfolios. But today, what I'm doing is quite different. What I'm doing is even what a tout could do. Anybody who has money can go into business. Hope you know that.
So you're saying more parents should be more intentional in choosing careers for their children.
Yeah, it's very, very important. In fact, it can never be overemphasized. Okay, absolutely, very, very pertinent for every parent to choose the career and he feels,
Okay. We have to go on the break now, but thank you very much for your thoughts.
Oh yes, Nasco quality cornflakes are so full of nourishing goodness because